Well, we sent out a warning earlier this morning. Make sure you don't have any hot coffee in your hands. You might spill it. Russia, Dmitry Medvedev says multiple countries are now willing to directly supply Iran with nuclear warheads. The Iranian parliament has just issued an order to shut down the Straits of Hormuz. Where'd you hear that from? Benjamin Netanyahu says he can't confirm Iran's nuclear program has been eliminated, but insists it has been severely damaged. Tim Homan warns that Iranian sleeper cells inside the U.S. may be poised to carry out terrorist attacks. Representative Thomas Massey suggested AIPAC influenced President Trump's decision to launch airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities. How would he know? Iran's Atomic Energy Agency says nuclear sites are being rapidly rebuilt with operations set to resume at increased capacity. The Department of Homeland Security has issued a national terrorism advisory warning that Iran or proxy groups may carry out attacks within the United States. President Trump says, no, better not do that. Russia says Israel is the only country in the Middle East with nuclear weapons and is attacking Iran, which has none. Intelligence officials say Iran-backed militias are getting ready to attack U.S. bases in Iraq and possibly in Syria. Lindsey Graham is urging President Trump to remove the Iranian government and install a new leadership. Former Vice President Mike Pence says he's incredibly proud of President Trump's leadership in the wake of strikes on Iran. Well, goodness, here we go. Silver money, back to the future of sovereign money. It's time to roll back the clock a bit and let's talk about silver money. And yes, I'm going to borrow that old cliche, back to the future. But before you groan, let's explain why this phrase holds so much resonance in today's economic landscape, especially when we're talking about silver as real money. Fiat currencies, those whose paper currency is not backed by a tangible asset, have been with us for a long time. In fact, they trace their origins all the way back to 800 AD during China's Tang Dynasty, where they created something known as the flying monkey currency. Sounds funny, right? Well, it represents a key moment in monetary history, the first recorded instance of money that was essentially just a promise, not backed by anything tangible like gold or silver. This system, as we know, has led to the rise and fall of countless fiat currencies over the centuries, from the Roman Empire to the German hyperinflation in the 1920s and more recent collapse of currencies like the Venezuelan bolivar. The story remains the same. When fiat currencies lose their value, the people who trusted them are left holding nothing but paper, or in today's digital age, worthless digits on a computer screen. But let's focus on the bigger picture. Bankers and the central banks who control these currencies continue to erode the purchasing power of people who rely on them. We are witnessing it firsthand today as central banks print money and expand debt, eroding the value of currencies they use. And guess what? The people who trust these systems are often left watching their savings, their wealth, and their financial stability wash away. However, something has changed, something profound. For the first time in history, we're experiencing a shift, a monumental one, away from the centralized power that has meant the Bank for International Settlements and dominance of its fiat currencies. We're moving towards a more decentralized sovereign system. It's not just a theory anymore, it's happening. More and more nations are beginning to see the value of returning to money that is real, money that has intrinsic value. And what's most obvious candidate for that money? You guessed it, silver. Silver, unlike fiat currencies, has been a store of value for thousands of years. From ancient Egypt to the modern world, silver has been the currency of choice for those who understand true wealth. It is a real, tangible asset that cannot be printed at will. You can hold it, see it, touch it, and know it will always retain its intrinsic value. Even when the dollar and other fiat currencies lose their purchasing power, silver remains steady. We're on the cusp of what I like to call the dawn of a new world. Hint, hint. Think about it. As more sovereign countries transition away from the control of central banks and the dollar-centric global financial system, silver is poised to play a huge role, not just as an investment, but as a real functioning currency. With the rise of digital currencies such as CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, nations are recognizing the importance of having the stable, reliable, and real alternative to the system controlled by the banking elite. And silver, real, physical, time-tested, could be just a ticket. Now, why should we be paying attention? Why is this so critical right now? Because the global financial landscape system is in a state of transition. As we speak, governments are quietly planning to move away from traditional fiat currencies. You may hear whispers about the decline of the dollar, the collapse of the debt-ridden economies, and the new global financial systems on the horizon. This isn't just idle chatter, it's happening before our eyes. But here's the key. We, as individuals, have an opportunity. We can prepare. We can stack silver, invest in tangible assets, and protect ourselves against the coming storm. And this is not just a financial shift, it's a cultural one as well. People are waking up to the idea that real money is more than just numbers on a computer screen or promises made by central banks. Real money is something that holds its value, something that can't be manipulated by a few elite bankers in a boardroom halfway around the world. So what does all this mean for us as individuals and as a society? It means it's time for us to think differently. It's time to rethink money itself and to prepare for a new world where sovereignty is more important than ever before. And it's a time for us to embrace silver's sound monetary system, one that has stood the test of time and will continue to do so in the future. Let's go back to the future. In conclusion, silver is not just a relic of the past, it's money of the future. It's the bridge between the failed fiat systems of today and the new world of decentralized, real, and sovereign money. As we move forward, let's stay ahead of the curve and be prepared. The dawn of this new world is coming, and silver, true silver, coin of the day, will be the cornerstone of the future. Thanks for joining me. Let's continue on with the program. We got a lot to cover. Well, here we come. I hope you guys are enjoying the program. We've had a lot of fun putting it together. There's a lot more fun to be done. So this next piece we have here is from JFK Jr., we believe, and it's an update as to what's happening. Yesterday, we brought you an update as of yesterday. This is an update as of today. Let's follow along.
Patriots, behind the curtain of mainstream headlines, a quiet but historic transformation is unfolding. Tonight we break it down: the silent exit of the Federal Reserve, the rise of a sovereign financial system, and what it means for you and your family as the global reset quietly gains momentum. The fall of the fiat empire. While the media keeps your eyes on distractions, wars, politics, and digital noise, the real shift has already begun. As of Thursday, June 19th, insiders report that the Federal Reserve, once the central pillar of global debt and inflation, is being phased out, not with fireworks or press conferences, but with calculated precision. A clear sign: the U.S. debt clock, once tracking Federal Reserve notes, now displays future U.S. Treasury dollars. That's not just cosmetic. It's a quiet declaration that America is transitioning to a sovereign asset-backed system, one free from the control of international banking cartels. The Genius Act and asset-backed currency. On Wednesday, June 18th, sources confirmed that the U.S. Senate passed the Genius Act, legislation creating an asset-backed currency for our nation. The bill is now in the House. Meanwhile, the new United States notes, both USN and USTN, have reportedly been printed and are already in banks. Exchanges and currency redemptions could begin any day now. We're hearing credible chatter about activity after 6 p.m. Eastern on Friday, June 20th, or after 9 a.m. on Saturday, June 21st. If accurate, patriots holding currency like the Iraqi dinar or Vietnamese dong could soon see the fruit of their patience, as both currencies recently hit record highs on Forex markets. The quantum financial system, quiet but active. Since May, over 230 million biometric wallets have been silently initialized within the quantum financial system. That's right, a secure, sovereign financial architecture is not coming, it's already here. Traditional banking networks like SWIFT being bypassed, central bank digital currencies quarantined, non-asset-backed currencies entering sunset mode. Every QFS wallet is paired with quantum biometric ID, no passwords, no fraud, no hacking, only sovereign access. This isn't theory, it's deployment. And as Project Odin aligns Starlink nodes for quantum control over global communications, the stage is set. The timeline for mass activation is no longer speculative. July 4th, the coordinated Jizara implementation declaration is expected. July 5th through 14th, a biometric sync and activation of rainbow currency could begin. A hard asset economy built for the people. In this sovereign system, paper illusions give way to real value: gold, silver, land, commodities. No more inflation games. No more hidden hands manipulating interest rates and debt cycles. Estimates show $173 trillion in real asset backing potential, $7.5 trillion in seized illicit wealth, modeled wealth of over $500,000 per citizen in hard assets. And here's the kicker. This system eliminates the parasites. No more federal interest payments bleeding over $1 trillion annually. No more bank fees draining tens of thousands a year from working families. Peer-to-peer transactions, sovereign, secure, untouchable by globalists. Why no headlines? The silent exit explained. Why aren't CNN or CNBC talking about this? Why no breaking news? Because this isn't collapse. It's controlled transition. It's liberation, not chaos. As the system that enslaved generations with fake value fades, a new model rises quietly, intentionally, and with precision. They modeled the fall of Fiat. They built the architecture of sovereignty. And now the switch has been flipped. What's next for Patriots? So where does that leave you? Your debt's already logged for forgiveness. Your QFS account, not something to wait for. It exists. The IRS reports indicate it's dissolving as part of this transition. And under Nessera Gessera, it's more than money. This is about sovereignty, your identity, your estate, your children, all freed from a system that saw you as property. Patriots, we are living through the greatest transition in financial history, a shift not just in money, but in power. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, and spread the word.
Washington, D.C., a city of suits, silence, and strategy, exploded into chaos this morning, not from a missile, but from a sentence, a single sentence. And it didn't come from a diplomat or an economist. It came from Donald J. Trump. Yes, the 47th President of the United States just lit a rhetorical match and dropped it straight into the heart of America's most elusive power structure, the Federal Reserve. The scene was set like something out of a political thriller, the Roosevelt Room, 8 a.m. sharp. Trump had called an unscheduled emergency economic meeting. Whispers were already flying faster than lobbyist checks. Powell's coming, one aide said, in person. That alone was historic. The last time Jerome Powell walked into the White House uninvited, the Dow lost 600 points in real time. But this wasn't just another economic briefing. This was a showdown. And Powell, he walked in with charts, numbers, and the confidence of a man used to people nodding when he talks. Not this time. Mr. President, Powell began, interest rates must remain high to stabilize inflation. Trump didn't flinch, didn't even blink. He leaned forward and dropped it, cold as a snowstorm in Nebraska. You mean to say that crushing American families with debt is better than letting them breathe? Boom. The air left the room. It wasn't just a comeback. It was a declaration of war. What followed wasn't economics. It was theater. Powell stumbled. That's a misunderstanding of macroeconomic fundamentals, he tried. Trump cut him off. No, he said. That's a misunderstanding of what it means to serve. A gasp. A cough. Someone dropped a pen. A senator turned ghost white. And then Trump produced a folder, stamped confidential, FIC. He held it up like it was the Ark of the Covenant. Would anyone, he asked, eyes locked on Powell, like to know why the man sitting at the top of America's economic system has been dragging his heels while families are losing their homes? You could hear the heartbeat of the nation in that room. Because inside that folder, allegedly, were links, wire transfers, donor networks, shell companies, all leading back to Powell's family trust. Verified, Trump said, by 2 intel units and a former Treasury official. Tell me, Jerome, Trump said, how much are the liberal elites paying you to strangle this recovery? Powell paled. Not just metaphorically, physically. And then came the kill shot. You haven't stabilized the economy, Jerome. You've stabilized your
geopolitics.
Hours in geopolitics. Iran's government condemned the US airstrikes on its nuclear facilities as a betrayal of diplomacy, with officials warning of consequences and reaffirming the continuation of its nuclear program. The Israeli military announced it conducted airstrikes on western Iran targeting ballistic projectile launchers it said were used in an earlier attack on Israel, claiming the strikes destroyed the systems and left Iranian personnel deceased. India's Home Minister Amit Shah stated the Indus Waters Treaty with Pakistan will not be reinstated, asserting that water previously flowing to Pakistan will be diverted domestically following April's attack in Indian-administered Kashmir, which New Delhi attributed to Pakistan. President Vladimir Putin stated that he considers all of Ukraine to be ours in a cultural sense and did not rule out a possible advance on Sumy, describing it as part of a buffer zone strategy. Pakistan announced plans to nominate US President Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, crediting his diplomatic intervention in May with ending a brief conflict with India, though India maintains it was resolved through bilateral military